Quick disclaimer. One, yes, this is a re-upload, but the reason that this is a re-upload is because I felt like with the original video I posted, I said a lot of things but didn't show quite enough footage of it. So I popped in and did another run and got footage of literally every little thing that I was complaining about in the video, so now my claims will at least seem a little bit more justified. I didn't want to make this video. The Warhammer End Times Vermintide series, both 1 and 2, are games that actually hold a very special place in my heart. And there's a couple different reasons for that. One, Vermintide 2 is an extremely fun game, and they have regularly back-to-back released free and paid DLC that is worth the money, extremely fun and additive to the story and gameplay experience, just in general great things. And it's been that way since Vermintide 1. Vermintide 1 has some of the best DLC I've ever experienced in a game. And one of the reasons why Vermintide, even with its simplicity, why Vermintide 1 is one of my favorite games of all time is because it is actually the first ever video game that I streamed to double-digit viewers. That obviously wasn't on this channel. It was a very long time ago. Whether or not I used that channel doesn't change the fact that the first time I saw my digits go past 10 on a viewer count was when I was playing Vermintide 1. And that love for the game and that drive to play it has always existed since then, which is why making this video sucks. You see, 4 days ago, Vermintide 2 got its newest of its DLC, a free expansion called A Trail of Treachery. Now, this is supposed to be the first of 2 free expansions, each with 1 level, which is a very small amount of addition even for a free DLC, but nonetheless, I was extremely excited for it. Like I said, I had yet to be disappointed by the devs and by the game in general, so obviously my hopes were very, very high for it. Things didn't go exactly as I wanted them to. It'll actually take me a little bit of time to list off every single thing that went wrong. First and foremost, I'll complain about the gameplay. The new map is the single most boring map that has ever been added to either of the Vermintide games. It is one really long, really slow escort mission. You show up, find the cart, push it. Cart rides off. Find the cart, push it. Cart rides off. Find the cart, push it. This is the gameplay loop. Now that alone really isn't that bad, until you realize that the sled is going slower than you are. This is like the rule number 1 of how to fuck up an escort mission. If at any point you are escorting something slower than you are in a video game, it is going to suck, no matter what. Anyone who's played World of Warcraft knows that. Anybody who's played any MMO knows that. Anytime you escort something slower than you are, it is trash for an experience, unless you have something to constantly do. Now, this isn't the first time we've pushed something in Vermintide 2. One of the missions, you have to push a little cart, and while pushing the cart, you have to throw black powder barrels into it so you can push it down a ramp and make it blow up a building. That's exciting. 1, the escort isn't too long, it's a short area. 2, you're constantly fighting a horde. 3, you have to get barrels. There's enough going on. You don't think, oh, I have to escort this thing. You go, okay, quick, get the barrels. We gotta make sure somebody's pushing it constantly while also grabbing the barrel. Second annoying thing about this, if you leave the sled, you barely walk too far out of its pretty restricted area, it will go backwards. The sled will go back to a previous checkpoint. But I wanted to get those 2 grievances out of the way really, really fast, because the truth is, that is something I would be completely willing to look past. A slightly annoying escort mission isn't why I'm making this video. The map is completely broken. The hitboxes of the actual terrain are buggy as hell. I have multiple recorded instances of me just getting suctioned off a ledge that I was nowhere near. I also have recorded instances of me trying to throw bombs and just having the bomb collide with literally the air. In fact, the terrain is so poorly put together that the AI of the bots will continuously break. The AI of the bots in Vermintide 2 and Vermintide 1 have always been a little bit buggy, but it never completely breaks. The closest thing to completely breaking is sometimes a bot will get on top of you, start picking you up, and then cancel picking you up to block and shove, and then start picking you up and then cancel the block and shove. Like they get stuck in some sort of loop in their programming and they're not able to successfully get you up. That's just that. That's how it is. When I say that the bots get broken, I mean they will stop moving. Their pathing will completely break and they will never walk again until you go far enough forward that they teleport to you. Now, if you're pinned, trying to defend against a horde, or downed, this means that you get to slowly watch your health bar reduce all the way to 0 while the bots stand 5 feet away and stare at you. They do literally nothing. This is beyond aggravating. We waited months for this map and it isn't functioning properly. It feels shoddy. But that's not the cherry on top. The cherry on top is this map is the single least optimized video game experience I have had since I got my new graphics card. Since getting my new graphics card, which was only a couple weeks ago, I have been playing some of the highest demand visual fidelity video games in my library. Elden Ring, Cyberpunk 2077. You want an example? Here, let me show you something. I'm sure you guys all recognize this. Elden Ring, a huge and vastly popular game. Look at me running around. 60 frames per second, 1080p, high visual fidelity, absolutely no frame drop, absolutely no lag, and a fantastic experience. This is me trying to record the Vermintide 2 level. Which now brings me to the second reason why I didn't want to make this video. Because this is my second attempt. My first attempt was going to be a blind playthrough of it. The blind playthrough was so horribly damaging to my graphics card that the video got corrupted. The first part did. Not only that, but when I came back in after restarting my computer, I was still constantly losing frames. Thankfully, the other hours of footage weren't corrupted. But my entire intro and my entire story on why I care about Vermintide, it was. Which means I would have had to record this even if I had a good experience. Technical issues aside, which it's very hard to put aside, I might add, because everything from the bots to the terrain to the optimization was literally broken. Stepping aside from that, not only was the gameplay slow and boring, there is absolutely nothing new in this level. I didn't expect there to be, okay? I didn't expect there to be new monsters, a new monster type, new bosses, anything like that. However, in previous free patches, i.e. Chaos Waste, we at least got slightly changed enemies. We got bosses with weird special visual things on them that had different keywords that changed the way that they work, as well as all the different effects involved in that. That was a fantastic update. The rats have snow on them, and it's a texture, not a physical model. At first, I didn't care. And then, Loner decided to say, is this crystal ball broken, or do these rats have snow on them? Yes, Loner, you old sack of shit. The rats on the snow-covered mountain have snow on them. Does that mean anything, or are you just rubbing it in? However, combine the fact that the level is ludicrously slow, making it long even though it really isn't that long. What feels like completely directionless when you first play through, because there are almost no established paths. With broken unoptimized terrain, constantly tanking your FPS when you really need it to not be tanking. With broken bots, you have yourself possibly the worst experience I have ever had playing a Vermintide game. Not possibly, that was the worst. It sucked. I've made all the points I have. There's nothing else for me to add. There is no silver lining because they haven't said a thing since releasing it. They have not made a single post. Let's hope this is a one-time thing. This is coming out like right before Dark Tide, and I really hope this kind of a thing doesn't become a new norm when Dark Tide comes out.